is in effect.
There you go.
And we are, I believe, rolling live.
So that's all the way down.
I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!"
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Smith Radio. This is Brian Smith along with
Carrie Smith.
giving you all the hot topics of the week past and getting you set up for the week to come so that when you get to work, you're around the water cooler, you know what you're talking about. And you know everybody else has not a clue. It is June 21st, the first day of summer, also Father's Day, and
Your birthday?
mine truly,
On 20th or 21st?
21st.
Oh, my goodness. Happy birthday, Brian, everybody.
I am 31 years old today.
Okay. He's one of those millennials. Or is he?
Huh. That's strange. There we go. I'm like, why couldn't I hear my sound bites?
I know. So this is the first episode we've ever done with, I guess we had a renovation of the studio.
Right.
And I would call it an electronic renovation. So there may be some glitches. It may sound better to you. It may sound worse. It may sound different. And if you're wondering, why does it sound a little different today? It's because, number one, we have all new equipment. And number two, we're doing a little bit of testing and troubleshooting on the fly in the middle of the show just for you.
And there were things that I was looking for that I couldn't find. And a friend of mine also had the same problem.
I don't even know where my thing is now.
Right. So that's the problem.
We have knobs now that I'm just like, you know what? Don't touch it. Don't touch the knob.
I'm like, but I have to. I've got to touch the knob.
It's a knob. You got to touch it, right?
There are 5 down and...
Oh, it's so many.
There's 25. There's at least 30 to 40 knobs. And right now, I'm coming out of my skin wanting
to twist.
To touch all of them. Wow. That was Microsoft saying that USB device is now connected.
I hope it's connected.
Installing driver. Woo, your device
why
is
are
ready
you
to
doing
use.
that? So we have new... For those of you who have Bill Gates' brainchild for a machine, you know that sometimes when you hook up something new, it decides to be Helpy Helperton. It's right. And it'll say, we found a driver for your device, which is interesting because the instruction booklet doesn't say anything about being required to download a driver. I mean, it just works.
And
luckily.
And the irony of all of that is that my phone is a Windows phone.
Okay.
And when you plug my phone into a Windows computer, well, the operating system is Windows, they still don't know each other.
Oh, that's messed up.
They have to download drivers and reinstall. And
a phone is attempting to connect. Would you allow this?
Yes.
Yes. What are you talking about?
Are you sure you know what type of phone this is? Because we don't.
Oh, there you go.
All right, folks, we're going to keep this a little lighthearted this week. It's going to be a short show just because...
We've actually interrupted Brian's birthday party in order to bring you the news.
Because... I'll be honest with you, in my mind, that's a little more important than me growing a day older.
Yeah, that's true. Is it a day or is it a year?
A year. Yes, a year. We're going to go over the general basics of everything we always talk about, and I want to lay this out for everybody. There's a reason why we do this show, and the reason is that we feel that we need to inform the masses on the evil out there in the world. There's good and there's bad. And anybody that ever tells you that there's a gray area, oh, it's gray. No, you need to stay far away from those folks.
You don't have to stay far away from them. You just have to come to the realization that we did, which is that they are wrong.
Correct.
And as long as you know that they're wrong, that's a good place to start from.
But you got to be careful because they can be very persuasive.
They can? Well, I guess if you're not sure.
Well, because, and I've said this before, people who invoke emotion in trying to sell you something, you don't need it. If they get emotional about something that they're talking about or something that they're trying to convince you of, and they're having to invoke emotions to get you to either listen or to buy into it, there's a problem. Hitler used to do that. He was all about emotions. And when he would speak from the pulpit, it would be extremely emotional.
You could see it.
And
you don't even have to understand
right.
what he's saying when he's...
You turn the volume off
Yeah.
on the YouTube videos, turn the volume off, and watch his body language as he attempts to emotionalize the people. And that's what liberals do. Liberals, progressives, communists, Democrats, it's all the same thing. Their attempt to emotionalize everything.
Well, because they know that'll resonate with you. Because
Correct.
people respond to emotion like that.
Well,
So-
just like we talk about The Simpsons. There's a lady in the background who's would somebody please think about the children?
Oh, is that the Simpsons that does that? Okay.
I mean, that's
It's
the
a
whole
joke.
show.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a joke because it's for people that are in the know. I guess you could call them wise people that are wiser.
Right.
It's unbelievable that people fall for it after all these years. It's like the Barnum and Bailey thing, P.T. Barnum. There's a sucker born every minute or something like that.
Right.
Because they wonder how in the world you can get people to spend all their money on a circus act everywhere you go, and then come back the following year to the same cities and do it again, over and over. It's the same acts over and over again. And he's like, there's a sucker born every minute.
Right. And there was an article this week, and this is the reason why I bring it up. There's an article this week that came out and said that Americans reclaim the liberal label. Liberal is no longer a dirty word. And the article
It was for a while, wasn't it?
Well, it's an opinion piece by Dana Milbank and from the Washington Post. And just the beginning of his article goes like this. It says, since the 1988 presidential campaign, when George H.W. Bush and Lee Atwater turned Massachusetts liberal into an epithet, the label has been tainted.
I was going to say, I've always noticed that if you call somebody a liberal, even if they're a complete flaming communist, they recoil at the name calling.
Well, they used to, and so much so that many liberals abandoned the name liberal for the word progressive.
That's right. But progressive, the label itself, has been around for longer than liberal has in the way it's been used.
Right, and there's a poll out that says that there's a significant increase in the number of Americans who describe themselves as liberal. And the number of Americans taking liberal positions on issues has increased.
Which just shows the dumbing down of America. And by the way, I take offense to the title of this article. What is the title again?
The title is Americans Reclaim the Liberal Label.
Yeah, I'm offended by that because in my mind, you're not really an American if you hold the values and principles of what we consider a liberal and what we consider their values are. You automatically have to be anti-American by my definition.
Right, absolutely.
And my definition is based on what I know of the founders, what I know of the Enlightenment period, and what I know of the U.S. Constitution. As a liberal, you must hate America because of the laws that you disagree with that are written in the Constitution, and whether true or not, the founding itself, which I don't think is true. I think what they don't like about our founders the founding and everything that has happened in the early days of America, I don't think that they're accurate, what they believe happened.
Right. So in his article, he talks about a poll. He talks about a poll that was taken by Gallup. And when they started taking this poll back in 99, 39% identified themselves as conservative and 21% identified themselves as liberal.
So twice as many conservatives in America than there are that would consider themselves liberal, which leaves, 40% of the people, which the remaining, being unable to find themselves.
Right. So over this last year, 2015, 2014, the poll has dropped. Registered voters identified themselves overall as conservative, dropped from 33%.
You say 33?
Sorry,
I thought you said 39.
From 37% dropped to 33%.
Wow, that's
less
kinda significant.
people are calling themselves conservative.
So it went from about 2 in every 5 down to about 1 in every 3.
Right, and they don't want to use the word conservative.
Which is mind-blowing, because there are conservatives. If you talk to like Hannity, and Hannity's not as far right as some other people are. Right. Hannity will say, I'm not a Republican. I'm a registered conservative. He says that all the time on his show. He doesn't ever like to be called Republican or associated with that party. But he's very, very proud to be called a conservative. And I think anybody who's ever considered that, I can't believe you're saying that there's about 4% of the people out there who now are embarrassed or not proud of being conservative. They don't want to be called or considered conservative.
Well, this is this is a poll taken by Gallup. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, polls can be problematic because there was a study shown somewhere. I'm trying to remember what this study was for. But they were it was something about something to do with race, where just being asked the question will elicit a false response because of was it white guilt? Do you remember this? It was a Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah, depending on how they ask the question.
So Brian calls me up. He's a pollster, and I'm just some random guy getting a random phone call.
Yes, ma'am.
During
Speak to
dinner
Carrie Smith, please.
Yeah. This is Carrie.
Carrie, I am with Gallup, and I have a question to ask you. We're taking a poll. Do you have 1 second?
1 second exactly, because my dinner is getting cold. Anyway, go ahead.
Understand, the check is in the mail for you answering this question.
Okay.
Now, do you think that would persuade
the check
the answer? The check.
I'd be like, all right. Just make it quick. No.
So, do you find yourself angered at minorities?
No.
Ever?
Never.
So if you see a minority walking down the street, do you get enraged?
Well, no, I don't get enraged, and I never, ever cross the street. Ever.
To avoid them?
No, and as a matter of fact, if they're on the other side of the street, I will cross over to make sure that I walk past them to avoid them thinking that I might be trying to avoid them.
Okay, the follow-up question is, do you own white guilt? Do you own that?
I don't even know. I don't know if I ever purchased it.
You sound guilty.
Well, so
I've been trained.
Obviously, this is
listen to guilt.
Hyperbolic parody of what what they found was that people will lie to pollsters because even though they'll never meet this pollster in their life, but they're talking to him currently on the phone, they can't get up enough intestinal fortitude or something to tell them the truth about something.
It's the same thing as people being on the internet, being on Twitter.
Well,
dude, everybody, you can hide. They hide and they say stuff that they would never say originally. I mean, if you're on the phone, you're literally on the other end, and you're technically
that's the opposite
hiding.
of my point. That's the opposite of my point. My point is, even though I'm never going to see the caller, ever, there's something that happens in my subconscious that says, well, I don't want them to think poorly of me. So I tell them what I think they want to hear.
I brought this up a long time ago, one of our early shows. They talk about self-knowledge, and there's this, if you imagine a circle with little circles in it, the outer circle...
The big circle.
Yeah, big giant circle, is what you want other people to see you as.
Oh, I don't know if I remember this.
The circle inside that one, smaller circle inside that one, is how people really see you.
Okay. So you want them to see you as the big circle.
Right.
But they see you in this narrow little hole.
It's smaller circle than that.
Okay.
Inside that circle is what you think you are.
Okay.
What you think you come off as. What your personality is, who you are.
But I thought you want them to see you as the big circle.
That's what you
But you know,
that's what
so
you put out there. That's
you're being dishonest, is what you're saying.
Okay, you put your peacock feathers on.
Okay. I flare them up. We're real big and
when you're flared.
Yeah.
And inflamed.
Inflamed. Okay.
Yes. That's what you want people to see.
When I'm flaming.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah, we have these new microphones, so I like to get up close and personal.
I will have to say, for those of you out there in Radio Land, I hope that you are enjoying the sound as much as I am.
So. I hope so.
I'm thoroughly enjoying these new mics.
Well, I will tell you this: if there's something wrong with your sound, it's not the mics. We have some nice.
So
mics.
call in right now, 1-800-CAN'T touch this.
Okay.
So to finish that story about the circles.
So we have this tiny little circle of what you think
giant
you are.
circle you're putting on this image. You want people, you think people see you as this because that's what you're trying to show them.
Right.
Circle smaller than that, inside that is what people actually see you as.
Right.
Circle inside that is what you think you are.
All right. What you think, you mean you're not actually that?
A lot of people can never get to the next circle. There's one last circle.
One last circle. Okay.
So that circle, what you think you are, in the inside, the most inner circle, which is almost a dot.
The fourth concentric dot circle.
Is in the absolute center. Most people never, ever reach this. It's understanding who you really are.
What you really are. You know what? You hear something funny. This might be off the subject a little bit, but there are people out there where those different circles don't even coincide.
So they have circles outside of circles outside of circles.
You got the big circle. I understand that. Right. But then this next smaller circle, which is what people see you as,
right?
That actually might be outside. Completely not.
Oh my God.
Yeah, of the circle that you think you are.
Right. So liberals live their lives
with circles
on they only know that there's one circle. It's the outside circle, and they are absolutely convinced to fanaticism, convinced to the point to where I believe that Jesus is coming down to save us, convinced.
Okay.
They are committed, convinced it's their identity, that outside circle that they project is real, is what everybody believes, and it is what everybody sees, and it's what they know and they believe.
That's really enlightening, and I've never heard this before. I don't know why you thought you've talked about this on the show before. I don't remember you. I would have remembered this. But this is really enlightening because that explains a lot.
I can't take credit for 100% of that theory. I personally learned that theory myself during our
leadership training.
Yeah, during our
Brian actually taught some leadership out in
our hole. The rabbit hole we fell down to.
Yeah.
We fell down in, and we picked up on leadership. I swear, I wish somebody would have told me this when I was a kid. Leadership is everything. However, in leadership, that's what a true leader would do. He would be able to identify all those different circles, and a true leader has a breakthrough once he's able to see that innermost inner circle and accept it for what it is, and then attempt to change that with the ripple effect that everything else would change. You don't change your outside appearance. You change the inner inside.
But isn't it interesting, though, that people... Okay, you got your little tiny little dot circle, what you really are. And maybe you don't know what that is because you're what you think you are. Right? That's where you're...
Right.
What,
right.
What are you doing?
Hold on, I'm coming out of the bed. Okay, I'm back. All right, I'm back.
Oh, okay. Brian was across the room for a minute there. Okay, so anyway. So, no, but I think it's interesting that even if you never know that tiny little circle, that little inner circle of what you really are, isn't it odd that it's so important to some people that you project the big outer circle?
Right.
Why don't you just say, hey, I know you guys think I'm this big circle, and I know there's a lot of people out there that want you to believe they're the really, really big circle,
right?
But I'm this circle here.
Right. And, I mean, I probably don't need to give anybody an example, because if you can be very, very honest with yourself, you can understand what I'm saying. But an example just popped into my mind for some of those of you who are probably older than 35. Maybe, I don't know. You tell me how old they have to be to know this one.
All right.
Tammy and Jim Baker. Tammy Faye Baker.
I don't know.
Jim Baker?
Don't know.
The Pentecostal TV evangelical. She had all the makeup like a clown.
Okay. Wow. He's probably older than me.
You gotta be kidding me, man.
I don't know the Bakers. I don't know. No, I don't
Google
know.
Tammy Faye Baker and it'll come up, the clown from The Simpsons.
Oh.
What was his name?
I don't know the clown.
The clown from The Simpsons will show up. No, they were TV evangelists from the 80s. Apparently during the 80s, it was huge to have a mega church and be on TV and Krusty the Clown. That's right. And
thank you, Mr. Producer. Okay, go ahead.
And they picked this up off of Oprah. The more that they would cry on TV, the more the donations would flow in. Well, Jim Baker, the preacher... Oh, you did, he pulled up a picture of her?
Wow, that is way too much eyeliner. Way too much. Is that real?
No, that's
I just pulled up a picture of her.
That's gotta be... Now, that was her in her heyday.
Okay. That's still way too much
she
makeup.
She had eyelashes that were 4 inches long. And the crying and the tears and the mascara running. And you're like, Brian, why? What's the whole deal about this whole person? Okay. Jim Baker was the preacher of the church. And his wife was part of... she wasn't a preacher, but she was a very integral part of their church. And they were bringing in millions and millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. And they lived a multi-million dollar lifestyle. The house overlooking the ocean. Just anything you could ever possibly imagine. If you were making $100 million a year, imagine what that lifestyle would be like. That's the lifestyle they lived. And they started to get into their finances, and I think there might have been a tax issue. But anyways... Come to find out, Jim, the preacher, had a secret fetish. He would hire adult entertainers to watch him. I don't want to get too graphic about this, but that's what it was. And it was all over. It was all over the place. Everything about his lifestyle. So he's preaching a Christian lifestyle as a preacher, bringing in millions and millions of dollars. At the same time, he's paying females in the night.
So it's like hypocrisy, pretty much.
But he's cheating on his wife and this and that, and then she's spending money on this and that, and it is a lot of hypocrisy. Yeah. However, I'm not saying I'm no one to throw stones. I'm not paying anybody, but I'm just saying I'm a sinner just like the rest of us. However, if you're going to be, it's the Barbie, Ken and Barbie. That's exactly what they were. That's Ken and Barbie. But if you're going to be a preacher of a church, I'm not saying that you have to be sin-free. However, there's got to be certain sins that you
Well, you
refuse.
should have a little bit more discipline.
There's got to be a line that you don't cross. Like you don't get drunk you shouldn't. If you're the preacher of a church, you shouldn't be seen drunk. I'm just saying that flat out.
Oh yeah,
you're going to lose credibility.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You should be an example. You should be that leader. Well, he put himself out there as that leader, and he portrayed himself to the whole community that paid him as to being this leader. They followed him. Then come to find out the money that they were giving him, he was actually squandering it and doing all kinds of... he was doing things with the money that you wouldn't think that a pastor of a church would ever in a million years do. Come to find out, he came out on TV, live on TV, and you can YouTube this. This is insanity.
Boy. I can't wait. I can't wait to get off this show so I can YouTube it.
I mean, he was like, it was like an Oprah moment.
Oh, was he crying and everything?
Oh, bro, it was so bad. You remember the TV show In Living Color?
Yeah.
Jim Carrey did a Jim Baker.
A Jim Baker?
Jim Carrey did a parody of Jim Baker crying.
So you should YouTube both.
Oh, when you YouTube it, you'll probably come up with Jim Carrey's because it's funnier.
You'll think it's him, though, unless you knew any better.
Right.
Okay, so first look for the original.
And it was I'm seeing it today. It was just, I have sinned.
He's trying to get everybody to forgive him.
Oh.
I could see Jim Carrey having a lot of fun with that.
Oh my God,
because it's all about overacting, right?
Right. And if you ever see Jim Baker, I don't believe Jim Baker's with us anymore. Neither is his wife. His wife died of cancer. And
he's still alive.
Is he still alive? His wife did die of cancer.
He was born in 40, and so now he's age 75. That's actually a lot. So he's like just a little bit older than your dad.
There you go. Oh, the older crowd, the seasoned veterans that listen to us on a regular basis, they know exactly. They're reliving the nightmare that was Jim and Tammy Faye Baker.
How are they reliving it?
By me talking about it.
Oh, yeah, they're probably like, oh, gosh,
they were
did you have to bring this up?
Yeah. And they know how much of a... It was, folks. If you ever drive down the road and you see a train wreck and you stop to look, that's exactly what this was an absolute train wreck.
Oh, man.
So, but that goes along with what we're talking about, though. It goes about the different levels of personalities. What you see yourself as, what you want people to see you as, what people really see you as, what you think you really are, and then who you really truly are. And something that Anthony Robbins talks about all the time, what you practice in private will be displayed in public.
I could see that.
And I never thought that, I practice bad things. That'll never be public. Dude, don't you think for 1 second?
Well, I mean, I coach that, you're going to perform how you practice.
Right.
So.
Well, and whenever you see those, like I work with some of these older folks, and in past jobs, some older guys, dude, they're just really creepy guys. You know, and you've seen them. They're walking around the playground without children.
Oh, that's a problem.
Right. Well, they don't think that you can see them.
Oh, they're like, what? What? I was just an innocent person standing around here just enjoying the day.
Bruh, we see you. We see you.
We know exactly what you're doing. Yeah, I've seen that before. Not the playground, but actually something similar. But yeah. No, he was oblivious to what he looked like from the outside.
Right.
And to all of us, it was so painfully obvious. So, anyway, so what happened this week?
Oh,
we had a shooting.
Well, we had a few of them, but we had we had a few shootings, handful of cops shot, and the big one that unless you live underneath a rock.
Yeah, church shooting, mass shooting at a historically black church, which...
I don't understand. Why do they keep calling it historically?
Well, I did a little tiny bit of research. Apparently...
Hold on. You did a little bit of tiny
No, I did a little
research.
tiny bit. Did I say little bit of tiny research?
Either way, so the research you did for the show was so minuscule.
Yes. But it's why you listen.
Exactly.
We're all over the place for you.
I am riveted.
Okay, so here is what I found. After months of scouring the archives.
Wow.
Turns out this church was a place for African American either freed slaves or people, I guess black people that were born free.
Oh, so this 100-plus-year-old church.
It was before slavery was completely abolished in America.
So early 1800s?
Oh, I think, yeah, no, I mean like 1700s maybe?
No.
Yeah.
And this is in South Carolina, by the way.
Okay, so now the building that's there now is not that old, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So they have freed slaves and other free black people in America, in South Carolina, worshiping at this church. That's where you would go if you were black and you were free to worship Christianity. And so what happened is at some point in the early history, I don't know the exact year because my research didn't go that in depth. Nice. But at some point, a bunch of white racists went and burned it down. Oh, thanks for that. Thanks for that soundbite. Okay, so a bunch of, I guess it was Nancy Pelosi that burned it down. So they all burned it down, and it was rebuilt. And I believe the rebuilding of that church is what you see today. So it goes back from before what's built today. And so, you know, it's when I guess Martin Luther King preached there.
Oh, really?
He came through, and he was there. He spoke there. I don't know if he preached there, he spoke there, or whatever. But he did his thing. There's a lot of history in that place, and the pastor is a priest, pastor, whatever they call him. He is a U.S. senator.
Really?
The
pastor is?
A senator or representative.
Okay.
He's a congressman. And he also happens to be a close personal friend of Barack Obama.
Oh.
Yeah, so you could tell when President Obama came out to speak about it that he was definitely personally upset about this. It wasn't just like, oh, I got to address this because somebody died, and it's probably my duty as president to come out and make a statement. It wasn't like that. It was probably like, oh, hell no. You know, I'm gonna vent a little bit. And that's what he did. And you could hear that when in his speech about it, I guess. I don't know if it was a speech or a press conference or whatever, but he was upset, and he obviously acted unpresidential as usual. And I guess to give him a pass, a buddy of his was gunned down. And so, you know, that's what I know about it anyway. So,
okay, I've got Clementa Pickney.
Yeah, Pickney, yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Was a Democrat member of the South Carolina Senate. Representing the 45th District since 2000.
There you go.
He was previously a member of the South Carolina House of Representatives from 97 to 2000. So, I mean, he's a politician. He's part and parcel, and apparently he is black.
Yeah. So the kid, there's basically a kid. Was he 19 or something?
Right.
By today's American standards, he's a child.
He's a child, but depending on how the media wants to portray him,
of course they're going to prosecute him as an adult. Of course, but
well, yeah. But I mean, if he was 16. They would call him a man.
Oh yeah, sure.
Because they want him to be
tried as an adult.
Right.
Okay, so he is so young that it does not look like, I may be wrong about this, but it doesn't look like he's had his first shave
ever.
Yeah, he's never had to shave his face yet.
And somebody put a plastic Tupperware bowl on his head to give him a haircut.
Oh, yeah, he's got a little bit of that creepy bowl cut.
He's got the bowl cut.
So apparently he became a racist, and I say became a racist because there's a Yahoo article today.
Yep, that's true.
Did you see the Yahoo article?
Yep, his stepmother came out.
No, a childhood friend of his who's half black is like, hey, he's never racist. I don't know what you're talking about.
His stepmother came out and said he was a smart boy drawn in by the internet evil.
Internet?
She said, I quote, smart boy drawn in by internet evil.
Okay, so this was
an article out of independent.co.uk, so it was out of the UK.
So he got sucked in by, let's say, white supremacy racism online and found a home with them and then decided to act out on the hatred.
Right. Well, his stepmother says that he went to catechism, he went to church. He was locked in his room looking for bad stuff on the computer. Sometimes the computer drew him in. This is internet evil. We just thought he was lazy. This generation kind of kid. I don't know what that means. That's word for word what she said. We just thought he was lazy. This generation kind of kid. Oh, this generation. So she's saying this generation is lazy, and we thought he was part of that. But now we felt, and found. I know how you feel. Here's what, because I felt the same way. But here's what we found out: he wasn't lazy. He was plotting.
Well, yeah. Okay. For those of you that are over the age of 35, you experienced life growing up by going out and playing with your friends. Playing with a ball, playing sports with baseball bat, baseball glove, going out and getting into trouble. All of this was physical interactions with the real world.
Right.
Today's youth, and trust me, I got one.
Today's Utes.
The Utes today. Oh, what was that?
The Utes.
The youths.
Sorry, Your Honor. The youths.
So the Utes today, they experience the world in their brain the same way we did growing up. It goes to their brain. See, when we experienced the world, it went to our brain through our eyes, our nose, our ears, our taste buds, our hands, our skin, our feeling.
Okay.
And so that's how we experience the world. Kids today, I would say 30 and under for sure.
Okay.
For sure, 30 and under. They experience the world growing up into their brain through their eyes from a monitor.
Oh, right.
And they get to interact with it. That was the thing. When we were kids, we would have been bored to tears if we had to be stuck behind the TV all day and all night because it dictates to you whatever the producer of that show wants you to see, and that can become very boring. But if you can interact with that, then that would be a little bit more like you're actually participating in life. Okay. So kids these days, they are experiencing life through the internet, and they're interacting with it. And they're interacting with other people who are interacting with it. So while we went out when we were kids and interacted with the kids at the ball field playing baseball or playing soccer or whatever, they're doing the same thing, but they're doing it virtually. And instead of playing with a ball, they actually could be playing maybe a video game. It could be.
We talked about this in the last show. We talked about living in a.
Oh, somebody calling you up.
We got a.
We have a caller.
Ooh,
you're on line one. Go. Wait, who is that? No.
Okay. Line 2.
Did we lose him?
Line 2. Here we.
You know what really grinds my gears?
A prank call.
Oh, hang up on him.
Oh my goodness! I know you're out there. You can call back again. I'll promise you. I won't take it. Don't whisper.
All right. So yeah, we got a phone call from a concerned listener today.
Yes. And by all means, constructive criticism is always much greatly appreciated. Thank you very much.
And what you just did right there, he's going to yell at you about.
Maybe.
You gotta get a little bit of whispery.
I don't know. You
And
know,
when
folks,
if you're on the highway with the air conditioning on full
Max.
and the windows all the way down,
because that's how you should drive
and
on
the
the freeway.
radio is tuned into us like it always is, there's going to be parts that aren't as loud that you're just not going to be able to hear.
Well, and not only that, but I will have to say this, listening to some of the other radio shows out there, I find myself turning the radio up and down all the time.
Oh, okay. So then actually we're right on par.
I think so.
We are the second best radio station in the nation.
And the number one radio station on Sunday nights.
Definitely, for sure.
Hands down.
Yeah, easily.
So back to this generation.
Yeah, they are learning about and experiencing the world virtually. And it works. They're not bored out of tears because they are interacting with kids the same way we interacted with kids. They're just doing it through the internet.
Right.
And the difference is when we were kids, there'd always be that old creepy man that walked around and that lived with his mom because he couldn't really take care of himself.
And he's wearing a trench coat in the middle of summer.
Yeah, and there's always going to be one of those. But you had all your friends around you as like protection.
Right.
But on the internet now, it's like the playground is littered with all kinds of adults. Some of them don't even realize they're even interacting with kids. They think they're adults. They don't even know.
Well, I mean, and they're adults who put up child profiles.
Oh, that's right.
That pretend on purpose, either for their own. I mean, it could be like an alter ego or a dream or a wish that they were still a child, attempting to lure in other children, or it could just be straight out pedophilia, or it could be whatever it is. It's wrong, but they do this.
Well, I can tell you that, and that's one thing. That is kind of a that's willfully doing a bad thing. There, you're masquerading around. It's a dishonest portrayal of your identity.
Right.
But there are games like everybody probably listening has heard of Clash of Clans, where if you're on like the chat, a lot of adults on the chat always mistakenly assume everybody on the chat is an adult, and you don't realize when you're getting into an adult conversation that you might have several children in that chat room.
Right.
And so, and I think it's a bad thing, no matter how you look at it, no matter which way you slice it. So, but anyway, so this kid, the killer, the church guy.
Yep.
He's getting on the internet. He's on the couch. His parents are like, I just thought he was lazy. No, he's living his life the way all the millennials are, virtually.
Right.
And, of course, you could be subject to a lot more targeted propaganda. Right, like
absolutely,
like a KKK organization or some sort of a white supremacy.
Yeah, if somebody gravitates to you and sees that you want attention and they start to give you attention, I mean, regardless of who they are, good, bad, right, wrong.
Well, to verify my little thing here, his childhood friend who's half black, who when you look at him, he looks like he's black, said that he must have only recently began to hate black people because there's no indication of him being racist while we grew up.
I've got to pause for a second, folks. I don't know if this is breaking.
Okay.
But Hillary gave a speech to the Conference of Mayors in San Francisco.
So
it is breaking.
Subject list.
Saturday. No, this same subject.
Oh, Saturday. Oh, that was just
yesterday. Quote, so many of us hoped by electing the first black president, we turn the page on racism.
Well, do you want to hear my breaking news?
Well, hold on. I can believe she said it, but she's white, calling Obama a non-suppressor of racism, which means he allowed racism or perpetuated it.
You think that you're reading that far into it?
She's a bad woman.
Okay.
She is a bad woman.
If you take what Hillary said and combine it with what his childhood friend said, it's like, I didn't see any racism when we were growing up. He must have only recently become combine that and a bunch of other stuff, and you get the Kerry Smith theory on this. Very controversial, and nobody else is saying it.
Do you use any vanilla extract?
Extract?
To mix in that batter of stuff?
No.
Okay.
But by the way, vanilla extract is black.
I don't get that.
That is kind of oxymoronic.
I digress.
So anyway, no, my theory is that the journalists are at fault here. They have blood on their hands.
I'm with you.
In multiple cases, and here is my theory. My theory is that he saw what the journalists were doing to white people in general and to innocent cops in Ferguson. Ferguson was just terrible.
Well, let's back all the way up to Trayvon Martin and the white Hispanic.
Yeah, okay, let's back up to Trayvon Martin. Was that may not have been the first one, but that is the first. Well, that's the earliest one I can think of.
Not the first, but it was Obama's first completely
not
politicized.
Really. Not really. Remember the beer
death?
summit? Well, that wasn't a death. The beer summit.
I know, but I'm calling out just deaths of black people.
Well, here's the thing,
that Obama likes to politicize.
Hold on a second. I blame Obama for the problem with racism today.
Yeah, but when he said if I had a son, he would look like Trayvon Martin.
Right. That's just one of the problems.
And then they called the Hispanic guy.
That's the journalist.
White Hispanic. And that's where I'm agreeing with you. The journalism.
I think journalism.
They called him a white Hispanic, which if you ever know anything in the Hispanic culture, that is the most offensive thing you could ever say.
And Brian knows people in the Hispanic culture, so he would know.
Woo!
Yeah.
I dare you to walk up to a Hispanic and say, "Hey, you're a white Hispanic, aren't you?"
Yeah, you're not really Hispanic. You are really Hispanic, but you're one of those white Hispanics. Ew, that would not.
If you
go over
leave
well.
with all your teeth, you might not have spoken to a Hispanic
or
person.
you might win the fight, but you're in a fight.
Or you're speaking to the wrong person.
He may be missing all his teeth by the time it's over, but there will be a fight.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So here, and trust me, our enemies listening in right now would love to just run with my message that it's the journalists who are at fault for all these people that got killed in this church, because then you say, why you're not going to keep this racist white boy responsible for what he did?
Right.
Okay, here's where I blame the journalists. There's 330 million people in America. There's gonna be some crazy person, whether white or black or Hispanic, Indian, Asian, whatever, doesn't really matter. There's going to be somebody that's crazy enough that if pushed just the right way, could snap and kill a bunch of people. I mean, it's just the way the world is. There's going to be that crazy person that's going to do something like that. The journalists don't have to make it happen through... Is it working?
We're golden.
Okay, we had a tech guy in here.
Producer.
Oh, that was the tech guy. He had a big leather tool belt with all the jinglies.
The fanny pack.
Oh, the fanny pack with keys in it.
The mega fanny pack.
Okay, so they don't have to go around and create this dishonest narrative of racism all over the place, and what happens is you get somebody like this. I truly believe that what happened with this Roof, wasn't Dylan Roof? Dylan, is it Roff or Roof?
I mean ROOF.
It's
Roof.
Yeah, I half the journalists out there pronouncing it Roff,
and I don't know why, but and I mean we pronounce our name Smith.
If
you cover up the S, it's Myth. You put an S on it, Smith.
Right.
People will like to call it Smythe.
They automatically call it Smythe.
Whatever you want to call it, that's fine. And there may be a little bit of gray area, if you will. You could have an argument to call it Smythe. However, we have a very solid argument on calling it Smith. The word roof, like on the top of my house, is spelled ROOF.
Right.
Red Roof Inn is a hotel.
Right.
ROOF.
That's how you spell Dylan's last name. And somehow there's journalists out there calling him Roth. If his parents say, well, yeah, that's how you pronounce our name, then all right, whatever. Because
maybe they're from France. You know how all those words are all jacked up.
I guess the second O is silent. All right, so Dylan Roof.
Right. Roof.
Basically, here's a guy who I believe probably for a majority of his childhood was not racist and got sick and tired of being labeled by the mass media as being a racist and perpetuating a race war between blacks and whites, and he just probably got fed up and snapped. And like I said, I'm not justifying his actions. I think that what he did was completely mass murderous, and he should be given the death penalty for it, capital crime, capital punishment for sure. And I think anybody that does that should get, the death sentence, and they should not do it ever, not even think about doing it. But there's going to be a crazy person out there. There's murderers out there, period. All right? There's people out there that are capable of doing murder. What the journalists have been doing to sell newspapers and get viewers to their to watch their show is instigating people who are capable of murder.
Bill Maher comments on this, and a lot of low information voters, they get their information from HBO. Bill Maher.
Yeah, I mean, if you have cable and you like to follow,
or you can watch it on YouTube for free, like I do.
Okay, all right. Yeah, but it's a little delayed when you watch it on YouTube.
True. Bill Maher denying racism is a form of racism.
What? What does that even mean?
He says that racism is not a form of racism. Not only that, but
do you not have the soundbite? Because now I'm mad.
Yeah, I know. He says, I quote, this is Bill Maher, I quote, "I would just like to say the problem with racism is not Gwyneth Paltrow." I don't know where that comes from. The problem with racism is Matt Drudge.
Oh, of course it is.
I picked from Matt Drudge's website this just over a month ago. We monitor this, Bill Maher said. And then he proceeds to show several pictures of black figures such as athletes, religious leaders, politicians that appeared on the Drudge Report. And he goes on to say, this is racism in America. I don't get it. I don't get why. I don't get it.
I think a lot of people don't get racism, and the reaction to this church killing of trying to show, there's a lot of people out there that are trying to show that this incident proves that whites are racist against blacks. And it's almost as if they are trying to say that, look, Andy, if you're white, if you have white skin and you are of European descent in America, you're just one bad day away from getting a gun, loading it up, unloading it into a church full of black people, and when you're out of bullets, reloading.
He reloaded 5 times.
5 times. And why can't we just say, okay, this is a crazy person. And if you want to take it a step further, we could say, who instigated this crazy person to snap?
I think it's the
media.
The media.
Right.
Without a doubt.
Now, I'm not saying that we should do anything with there's going to be somebody that says, well, isn't that hypocritical? Now you're advocating for the abridging of freedom of speech.
No. I'm not advocating for that at all. However,
but take responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
Journalists need to take responsibility for the blood on their hands, period.
Right. There's a Democratic strategist, Karen, on Bill Maher's show, and she agreed with Bill Maher, and she made the reference to Drudge's report on the coverage of a reporter interrupting President Obama in the Rose Garden, and called it racist because it was a white reporter, because Drudge, I guess, is white. And then she goes on to say, she asked Bill Maher, if this was a white president, would he receive the same treatment?
I'm sure any journalist who wants to get a question off to the president and feels like time is running out on being able to get it in is probably going to try to interrupt. Have you ever seen the paparazzi?
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, when it comes to getting either a scoop, getting a question, getting a photograph, it's so aggressive.
And I'm not. I am not in George W. Bush's camp. I am not that George. I'm not defending Bush at all. I'm just stating fact.
He got a shoe thrown at his face. Okay, it's because he's white. Okay, it's because he's white.
Yeah, Obama has not had a shoe hit him yet or thrown.
Well,
at
neither
him.
has George Bush, but he's got good reflexes.
He had
there.
excellent flex.
He was like, "I'm ready for the next one. I know you got to. I know you got to. Where's the second one?"
So, but the media. It took the media 7 solid years of attempting to destroy W to get his approval rating down below 35%. And that was because of the media beating him down every single day.
Yeah, and
the unemployment's out of control. The war, he's a warmonger, and Dick Cheney and Halliburton.
More people died. It's all, Bush lied. People died.
I mean,
it went on. It was like this
the mantra.
nonstop droning of a beatdown of Bush, and it's such a double standard because, I mean, Obama didn't get that treatment.
All right,
if he did, they would be like, "Oh, it's because he's black."
Right. Here's a flashback of Bill Maher and some of the statements Bill Maher has said in the past.
Well, but by the way. His show used to be called Politically Incorrect.
He should have kept that because
he got fired.
I know
for being politically incorrect.
Right. He should have kept that because that is exactly what he is.
Well, I mean, when he got fired, he couldn't take the name with him.
Probably
so,
not.
Anyway.
So this is Bill Maher's quotes. This is not Smith Radio. We're just reporting as we see it. Bill Maher said, Obama is not acting like a real black president.
Oh, what does that mean?
Bill Maher also said, if I had a son, I hoped he would act like Trayvon Martin.
Huh? That doesn't make any sense.
He said, if I had a son, I hope he would act like Trayvon Martin.
Which is what?
Attack a white Hispanic that's hunting him down. That's according to Bill Maher.
So he should...
right.
Okay,
so Bill Maher says, the first black president, Obama, not acting gangsta. Obama knows for the sake of black America, he needs the second term. So Obama becoming that angry black man he was afraid of. And then his last statement, Brewer's beef with Obama came about because we permit Negroes to read.
Oh, permit Negroes to
read.
Wait, could you repeat the whole statement again?
Apparently, Obama's beef with Brewer came about because we permitted Negroes to read, meaning we allowed Obama to learn to read. That's why he's got a problem with a white guy.
Oh, boy. That's Bill Maher for you. What are you going to do?
You got to take it with a grain of salt and you got to laugh about it, but then at the same time, you got to understand people are getting you want to talk about angry racist? Bill Maher is a very angry racist. I think he's got a lot of him, Rosie O'Donnell, Whoopi Goldberg.
Mm-hmm,
there are some very Whoopi Goldberg was off the hook this week.
Really? Because she does the whole holier than thou, intellectually honest, she usually stays calm when she says ignorant, stupid things. Whereas Rosie O'Donnell's like, oh, wait, hold on. And it's just like, shut up, Rosie. Right. She gets up in your face. She wants to fight. Where you could always tell that Whoopi is not going to get in a fight with you.
Right.
Whereas, and I mean fist fight. Whereas Rosie, it's like you could tell that if you kept pushing back, it would either get physical or extremely awkward.
Right.
So.
Something I brought up to you last night when we were talking and hanging out. Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio.
He's the sheriff who has made headlines trying to bring to light the fact that Obama Does not. To this day, to this very day, has no
but there will still be pain.
legitimate, publicly available long-form birth certificate. I don't even know if
Well, not only that, but he also is extremely angry with the influx of illegals coming across the border.
He's a border sheriff.
He's also been known to have a tent city as a prison. His city... What? You don't know this?
A tent city?
His prison is Tent City.
I did not know that.
And all the inmates wear pink underwear and pink uniforms because they won't steal them.
Why would they steal them?
He said the amount of money lost from stolen underwear and stolen uniforms to wear on the street is X amount of dollars. And he curbed that to zero lost dollars by making them pink. And he said the color pink reduces the blood pressure of the inmates and they're less violent.
Wait a minute. So what? I'm still confused. So this is a prison uniform.
Right. In the desert.
But why would somebody want to steal a prison uniform?
I don't. Come on. I'm not a prisoner. I don't know why you asked me. We need a caller.
Yeah, somebody from
We need somebody
Texas.
from Prison Break.
Yeah. Speaking of prison
How about
breaks,
those two guys from New York?
Shawshank Redemption?
Shawshank.
You know, as soon as that happened, I actually have it on DVD, so I decided to watch
Pop it in.
Oh, I couldn't resist. Like it's one of those movies. Obviously, if you're listening, if you haven't seen it, just stop listening because you don't deserve to listen to us. It's one of those movies.
Shawshank.
Yeah, everybody should have seen it. But it's one of those movies that's so good that if you ever have time, because it's like a 2.5 hour movie, it's really long.
Yeah.
If you have time to watch it, you will never
make time.
Yeah, make time. You will never be like, why did I start watching this? Never. You're always like,
You'll be like, what's next? What's next?
Yeah,
Where's it going? Where's it going?
Well, you know where it's going, but it's like, you know.
Why is he carrying that donut around with him? Why does he have to sit on a inflated?
No, you're thinking of American History X.
I know.
But he does definitely.
He gets American History X'd.
Yeah. So anyway, apparently
Sheriff Arpaio, to finish this story.
Oh, we're not getting into the prison?
This is about racism
okay,
from the politically charged.
I got all confused because you have the Prison Break people on your monitor.
No, that's an advertisement.
It is? Are you
It says reward for an escaped inmate tops $100,000.
Okay. All right, so Sheriff Arpaio.
Right. I claimed at first that Obama was making the church massacre political and politicizing it because it's a white and black thing, and he wants to make it racism. Never let a good crisis go to waste. This is a good crisis. Don't let and the statements that he has made is just
that he's trying to do the gun control thing.
Yeah.
He's doing the gun control.
Oh, no, without a doubt. The gun control is off the hook now on this one. You can read all
unbelievably insulting.
So Sheriff Arpaio, who was being attacked by the Obama administration and being sued, currently he's being sued currently for the maltreatment of minorities, and this is going through the court still. Sheriff Joe comes out and says, I will send armed posses of volunteers to 60 black churches around Phoenix following the deadly attack on a historically black church in Charleston. I don't...
For what reason? I mean, to protect them, or...
Yeah. And it's in a statement from the article from USA Today.
So what
says that Arpaio's office has previously been accused of racially profiling.
Well, that's clearly racially profiling. We're going to send extra troops to all black churches.
What is that all about? I don't. Why would you, Joe? I know you listen to us on a regular basis, and you've got to listen to me now. This is going to be seen as not only is it going to be seen, but the media is going to play it out as that you are being an opportunist.
That's one thing. I didn't even think of it that way. I thought of it as, I don't know, it's just sending a bunch of cops in this environment and all that.
Tell them what you were going to say. Tell them what you told me last night. Tell them.
I don't even remember the exact words.
Tell them.
What was the exact words? It appears as though you're like
lynch mob.
Oh, they're going to view it as a lynch mob. Yeah, it's because of what how the police are perceived now.
Right,
and you can send a mob of police to all these different.
Then I want to stop here for a second. I want to step back from all the politics of today, and I just want to look at this from an outsider point of view, folks. The amount of breaking articles, the amount of articles that come across my desk that I see on a weekly basis and generated by the media, because we report on the media, if you will, there are exponentially more articles on cops being killed, cops killing people, blacks being killed
by whites,
or by blacks, just black deaths.
Because the black on black crime, it seems like it's going way up, and it's not really, it's never been reported.
Well, they don't say it's a black on black crime. They just say more black people. We got 26 black people dead in Chicago.
Because the media wants you
to know
black jump people, to the conclusion that it was a white person that must have killed him. Oh, black person died? Obviously must have been killed by a white person.
Because the media never puts out the article black on black crime. Never. They always put the white on white crime out, and they do that on purpose. And some of the articles that we read when we're researching, it may never say the perpetrator's race, or may never say, like if it's a politician or a political personnel, it may not even say their political affiliation.
Oh, I love when it's something bad about a Democrat, they will never mention. And it's gotten to the point now where if there's bad news about a politician, and I'm listening, and they never say their party affiliation,
you know what it is.
I know exactly what it is. It's definitely a Democrat.
Because you know if it was a Republican,
they would lead. They would say embattled Republican Brian Smith is under fire.
Gasping for air, attempting to save and salvage everything that he's ever worked for. The seat that he now occupies may soon be open if we can help.
Embattled Republican Brian Smith, quote, or not quote, parentheses R, unparentheses. Like, they will make sure, like, the whole screen will be an R.
Right. And it won't be like an R meaning representative, because they'll type the word REP dot giant R. Representative R. I've seen it where it just says REP.
Okay.
Or something of that
Normally
nature.
it's in parentheses R. Just an R.
Right.
I don't know if it's, I guess it's always capital maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it's always capital.
But if it's a Democrat, I'm going to
be honest, just say REP, representative. That's all it is, just a representative.
I've been so curious to know about a party affiliation of somebody that's in the news with bad news that I sat there and watched. I've had to stop, write down their name or remember their name so I could run to my computer to type in their name and look it up on Wikipedia to see what their party affiliation is. And it's always Democrat.
Right. Hey, I've got a little bit more on this Joe Arpaio.
Okay.
He said that Reverend Jarrett Maupin, who describes himself as a progressive Baptist preacher and civil rights campaigner on his Facebook page, asked him to provide the protection because he was worried about problems with white supremacists in the area.
Oh, do they have white supremacists in
And then
area?
this from Joe. Joe said this, quote, "I'm the elected sheriff of this county. He asked me to help. I'm going to help."
Well, if you have time and resources to help somebody that's asking for help because they feel like they're in danger, then you got to go for it. But so he's not going to look at it as a lynch mob, is what you're saying?
No, apparently not.
Okay, because like when you first told me the story, you made it sound like he's just going to show up
What?
at churches unannounced with a giant posse. Didn't you call them posses?
He calls them posse. He
So
says, I'm sending a posse.
Oh, it just sounds so like the old Western movies.
Right.
And so, yeah, it just...
Well, in the
The optics are bad. The
right.
optics.
And obviously the backstory on this, too, is that during the Connecticut elementary school shooting, where 26 people were dead, 2 years ago, apparently Joe sent hundreds of posse volunteers to provide security outside the school grounds.
Oh, the day after that shooting, when I took my daughter to school, when I arrived, there was a sheriff parked in the parking lot.
I don't get that. Help me out here.
He was parked in the parking lot.
You know, the problem I have...
Did he think there was going to be copycat crimes?
It's the knee-jerk reaction. The knee-jerk reaction of, oh, it happened. Well, let's do something, and let's let the general public know we're doing something.
It might be more therapeutic. Let's say you're a sheriff.
Probably.
If you're a sheriff and I'm going to tell you right now, that was a very upsetting story. I think my daughter was in first grade and a whole class got wiped out.
Right.
That was all first graders, I think.
Right.
And so it was really, I mean, I am the most emotionally callous person I know, but it was one of those things that was just like, oh my God.
By the way, the kid, Dylan Roof,
Yeah.
apparently his friends and roommates said that he was really big into segregation, and that he told his friends that he was actually planning on shooting up a college.
Yeah, I did hear about that. And I was talking to somebody about that. Why? How can you know that he was planning on doing a mass murder and not report it? And then when he does pull off a mass murder,
Yeah, we knew
you're
about
just
that.
like, yeah, we knew it was going to happen.
He
But
said he was going to do it.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
That's accessory to murder. Isn't it?
Right. CNN shooting coverage interrupted by heckler.
Wait, were they covering a shooting?
Roof. They were covering the Roof story.
Okay.
Live on the scene. They were right down the street from the church.
You mean while it was
CNN.
in progress? I mean, what's going on? There's some heckler is bothering us while we're taping this shooting.
No, CNN was shooting. They were shooting the video camera. Okay, they were filming.
Oh, filming. I'm like, whoa, dude.
However,
too
they
soon,
called,
man.
they called
too
it
soon.
Oh, is it too soon? They called a shoot.
Okay.
So they were covering the shooting of Roof and the situation there on the street, and they were interrupted by a heckler.
Okay.
The guy reporting from CNN is black. The guy he's interviewing is white.
Okay.
The heckler is a late 40-ish year old black woman,
Really?
extremely angry, heckling in the background, screaming, all white people are terrorists.
That's what I'm talking about. This
On CNN.
It's all over Twitter.
CNN.
Brian doesn't get on the Twitter much. If you ever see a tweet on Twitter from Smith Radio, it's me. So
I don't understand Twitter.
Yeah, so
I don't understand it.
So I'm on Twitter all the time, and I'm going to tell you right now, the problem with the reaction to this shooting is appalling. I'm really appalled by the reaction. There's so many black people on Twitter or severely scarred white guilt victims on Twitter who are just going off about how horrible the white race is because some idiot child who's been brainwashed by the media, the liberal media, into thinking there's some sort of a race war impending that ends up acting out on it because he's crazy. It just, the reaction to it has been universally that all white people are bad, all white people are terrorists, all white people are killers, all white people hate black people. And if any given white person was given the chance to do it and be able to get away with it, they would mass murder black people too.
Right.
That's what has been the universal attitude on Twitter, and it's been pretty much verified by your heckler.
Correct. Governor Nikki Haley of South Carolina came out Thursday and made a statement, condemning the shootings. However, Brandon Friedman, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Public Affairs at the Department of Housing and Urban Development, one of Obama's people, decided to cash in on the attention by linking the event to an unrelated story from Haley's part. So he was attempting to say that Nikki Haley, it's her fault that this happened.
Oh, and for what reason? I didn't catch the reason it would be her fault.
Well, it's not. He was linking another story to this, saying, "See, this is her not doing something."
Was she supposed to dive into the church and tackle him?
I believe so. But
and by the way, how do you let somebody reload 5 times? Tackle his ass! Come on! I mean, it takes it takes enough time to reload to probably go ahead and make a stand of some sort.
Brandon Freeman's Twitter tweet is, in October, Governor Nikki Haley defended flying the Confederate flag outside the South Carolina State House.
Oh, so she's part of the murder too then?
Well, the Confederate flag.
Yeah, Confederate flag. Well, because he had a Confederate flag on his vehicle. Did you know that?
Correct.
Dylan Roof had a Confederate flag on his vehicle.
J.D. Elliott tweeted back, "You couldn't wait till the bodies were cold to score political points? ? Hashtag Charleston shooting."
There you go. I love that. I love that tweet. It needs to be said.
What's going on
You need
here?
to shame these people into stop with the race war stuff.
Right, and then a couple other ones. This isn't relevant. How does this help? Are you accusing Nikki Haley? Absolutely classless. I mean, it's just on and on and on. So it's nice.
Well, you can call me classless for blaming the liberal media for hyping up this racial strife, the just the tension. It's all ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. And I got into it with a family member who will remain nameless about how somehow that this racial tension and racism in America has always been this bad. And it hasn't.
No.
It's only gotten even remotely noticeably bad since, I don't know, there was a little bit of rumblings during Katrina because, when Kanye West said Bush hates black people.
Well, because he does.
Does he?
All black people. All.
Bush hates all black people.
All black. Yeah.
Well, because I didn't know that until Kanye West pointed it out, actually.
No, Kanye West pointed that out. Now we all know.
And I think that that whole thing kind of started with liberals were just trying to get something to stick on Bush.
Right.
And so they decided, well, let's just go after him for hating black people because of Katrina, and we'll just keep on hammering that away. And I think that it just kind of festered, and everybody kind of laughed at Kanye and said, what an idiot. But when Obama, the first black president, became president, then I think people started really ramping it up.
Can I expose something?
Yeah, go ahead and expose something. Do you have a soundbite of a zipper?
Don't think.
Oh, wow.
Wow. I have.
Wait, this is a family show.
I have somebody taking off their jacket.
Is that what that is? I don't know.
No, the Illuminati.
Okay.
Apparently was using a mind control technique on Dylan Roof.
Oh, wait, who broke this story?
Mark Dice. I don't know.
Okay, some guy in his basement. Okay.
Right. And the Charleston shooting is a hoax.
Oh, did you hear the Sandy Hook?
Dude,
there's a huge.
I fell down that rabbit hole.
I believe it because
on a
it was
Saturday,
huge.
I went for 3 hours alone.
Oh my gosh!
I was convinced that it was real.
It
was a real hoax.
You were in Alice in Wonderland.
Somebody just posted recently a picture of one of the Sandy Hook children in Europe.
And they're older now?
Yeah, they're on vacation. They're on vacation in Europe.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, there were people out there that are more convinced than just about any other conspiracy theory outside of maybe 9/11 that the entire Sandy Hook thing was just completely staged. They were screaming stuff like, "Where are the bodies? Where are the children? Where are their funerals? Where are they buried?" Like, it's all hoax. It never happened. There's no dead children. There's no dead bodies. Nobody ever seen anything. And that it was a big CIA staged event.
So this is by The Blaze, and if you don't know, that's Glenn Beck's The Blaze.
Yeah, it's owned by Glenn Beck.
Obama said about this during this whole thing that reckon with the fact that this type of mass violence doesn't happen in other advanced countries.
Oh, I heard that. That was so annoying to hear that.
I've had to make statements like this too many times. Communities like this have had to endure tragedies like this too many times.
Now, what was the first statement again? Because I need to respond to that.
Okay, respond to this. Hey, I got the microphone, got a pen, got my cell phone. Reckon with the fact that this type of mass violence doesn't happen in other advanced countries.
Why would we need to reckon with the fact that it doesn't happen in other advanced countries? Why should we? Why do we need to care about what happens in other advanced countries?
It's one of those
it's the
asinine blanketed statements.
It's
that
a stupid statement.
It's a moron statement.
It's like saying, Brian, I know you just got a speeding ticket.
The NFL doesn't happen in advanced countries.
It's
only in America.
Right. We need to reckon with that. We need to reckon with the fact that Brian, other people don't get speeding tickets
in advanced countries.
I'm not saying that Brian got a speeding ticket, but let's just say he did.
In advanced countries. I mean, we're not talking about Bangladesh, which is not a country, it's in Malaysia. But I'm just saying.
That is a good analogy, though, because NFL, as popular as it is, does not occur in other countries. Advanced countries.
Advanced. I mean, we're not talking about third world like, Mexico.
Does Mexico? I saw the 49ers play in Mexico City. I wasn't there personally.
The NFL is attempting to retch out so far as they have the NFL fly to Europe to play a scrimmage game.
No. One of them was it was preseason,
and then
that's
fly back, and the very next game, both teams fail, massively fail.
Well, yeah,
because of the flight, because of the time change,
lag.
all the jet lag. I mean, whatever they got to do to get back in the game, and they're not on the top of their game. Stop flying them around because other countries don't want the advancement of the NFL.
Yeah. So I'm just. And if he was trying to imply that there's something better about a different advanced country other than the United States, I would prefer that you move there permanently, Mr. Obama, because we don't want you here. You're an anti-American traitor.
Right.
And we don't like traitors in America.
No. But this is all political to him, and I know you said earlier that that he knew and was friends with the pastor.
Yeah, I think he was just.
So the pastor was killed as well. No,
it's the same person.
Okay.
The congressman or whatever.
Okay.
Is the pastor.
Correct.
Yeah, and he got killed, and it's also
Obama's
a personal friend of Obama's.
Okay. So Obama goes on to say, we don't have all the facts yet, but we know that once again, innocent people were killed in part because someone who wanted to inflict harm had no trouble getting their hands on a gun.
Can we wait until the bodies are cold before we turn this into a hack and slash fest on the Constitution?
You know what really grinds my gears?
That's what grinds my gears, that you're not waiting till the bodies are cold.
Yeah, please. I mean, it's an insult.
So taking the opportunity when it's hot and fresh, right off the grill, to go ahead and I guess Biden joined him at the podium as well, to go ahead and go after gun control. he went on to say, well, let's be clear. At some point, we as a country will have to reckon with the fact that this type of mass violence does not happen in other advanced countries.
Well, and I would have to. I don't have a list in front of me, but they do. Remember that one island?
No. You don't understand, Kerry. He went on to say it doesn't happen in other places with this kind of frequency.
Oh, with this kind of frequency.
And it is in our power to do something.
He doesn't do anything except for implement communism.
But he said it's in his power to do something.
And if it's not, I'd like you to give me the power to do it.
Something. And if you don't give me the power, but I channel it and I feel you want to give it to me,
executive order,
I'll take it.
Booyah.
Done. And you know how Congress will be. They'll give it up.
And they'll be like, we'll get him on the next time.
They'll give it up like a cheap
We'll
dick.
just... Whoa! Wow. That's... and they are. They are.
They're selling...
They're whores.
All of you up there in Congress, the Senate and the House, you are the cheapest, dirtiest, nastiest people I've ever known in my life.
Yeah, it's
taking
pathetic.
it down. I mean, we're talking about what's his face with the white hair from Ohio, Senator
Shabbat?
No, skinny, tall.
Portman?
Yes,
Portman.
Talking about Portman. Took $100,000 on the back end. Legally on the back end, but took it anyways to go ahead and vote yay on Obama stuff.
Oh.
I mean, we're talking about, and I've posted this stuff on Facebook.
Oh, Kasich? Who are we talking about here?
No, Portman. We're talking about
Portman.
And I've posted this stuff on Facebook. These are these dirty, dirty Republicans who, and also, who was running with Mitt Romney? Man, I'm losing names here today. Paul Ryan.
Yeah, Paul Ryan.
Paul Ryan.
Oh, man, he's really...
He has lost his ever-loving mind.
He's a liberal.
They have come out, and he is he is splaining his way away with why they need to go with Obama on the trade deal that we talked about 2 shows ago. I'm just saying, these are the Republicans we're talking about. These are the dirty, dirty people up there that have sold their souls in Congress. And speaking about that, there's I'm looking at the Blaze. One of the Republicans that just recently, about a year ago, ran into a scandal where he was cheating on his wife and some other things, and so he resigned after only being a year in political life. A couple of years ago, when he was running for politics, Glenn Beck told this story on the radio. He said he ran into him, shoulder to shoulder. He didn't really know him, but he started talking. They started chit-chatting on the side, and he told Glenn Beck that, he was running for the seat and blah, blah. And Glenn said he looked right at him and said, is your soul secure? Have you secured your soul?
He asks all politicians that.
And he looked at him with a blank stare like, what? What are
They've
you?
got to know. If
you
get
are a
interviewed,
freak.
If you get interviewed by Glenn Beck and you're a politician, he's going to ask you the soul question.
Right. Have you protected your soul? And the reason why he looked at deer heads in the lights look is because his soul wasn't protected. They got him. They got after him. Because when you go up there, when you go up to Capitol Hill,
you better be ready to be.
If you can't stare the devil, if you cannot stare Lucifer in the eye and tell him no,
do you remember?
Mean no, walk away from Lucifer. If you can't do that, you have no business trying to be a politician.
Do you remember that Keanu Reeves movie, Devil's Advocate?
I know Kung Fu.
No, not that one. Devil's Advocate with
I know
Al Pacino.
Oh yeah, phenomenal movie.
So in the movie
in the 90s.
Yeah, so in the movie, it was like mid-90s. In the movie, he's this southern, tiny little town lawyer, but he's good.
And his wife was
Charlize Theron.
Oh my God, she looks so beautiful in that movie.
But he had this really thick southern accent because he was this small town little young
and he
kid.
met his wife in that small town.
Yeah.
They came from the small town together.
And he was a really good defense lawyer. He got guilty murderers off because he was that good. So anyway, Al Pacino, who, spoiler alert, is the devil.
This is a spoiler.
He's the devil.
Right.
That's the spoiler. He's a hotshot law firm, the owner of a law firm in New York City. And when he gets him, he said, "You got to come and check us out." He comes to New York and he gets the treatment. You know, he shows them the city. He shows them what he can have, what he could be.
And you can be a part of this. If you're a part of this firm, this is what you get.
Yeah, and he doesn't use these words, but the message is, if you sell your soul to the devil, you get all the worldly desires you ever wanted. And Keanu Reeves, well, the big spoiler is whether or not he falls for it.
Hook, line, and sinker.
Right. And in the movie, you think he fell for it, but you're not sure. Or maybe he did, and at the last second he switches. Remember at the very end?
Oh, yeah.
But the reason I brought this all up was because that's exactly what happens to each and every single senator and congressman that gets elected from your state to go represent your state up in Washington. When they leave and they show up. Not kidding you, not joking, talk to anybody who's ever had pleasure. You get there, and you got all these senior senators and congressmen, and they show you the town, and they start glad-handing all the bigwigs, and they say, "These are the guys. Let me show you how it's done."
What was the name of the movie again?
Devil's Advocate.
That's right.
Devil's Advocate. Yeah, so all these congressmen, freshman senators, freshman congressmen, they go up there, and they get held by the hand and introduced to everybody, and this really glitzy town where money is just flowing like a raging tsunami, and they're like, "Let me show you how to get some of this stuff." And then the thing is in order to do it, you have to sell your soul to the devil.
Keanu Reeves says, this is a quote from the movie. Keanu Reeves says,
well, spit it out.
He says, "What are you?" Oh,
what are you?
He says, "What are you?" And then Al Pacino says, "Oh, I have many names." And then Keanu says, "Satan." And then Al Pacino says, "Call me Dad."
Oh, goodness! Wow.
He says, "Better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven."
Yeah, he did say that. That's right.
Dude,
that kind of movie wouldn't fly today because it actually is a pretty religious movie.
It is.
Stop down.
Very.
If you really stop and think about it, but
well, yeah, the very last line of the movie that I was looking for, Al Pacino comes out and he says at the very end of the movie, says something to the effect of, "I don't control people. I can't force you to do something.
It doesn't make you do anything.
I just give you options."
Yeah, that's right.
Opportunities.
Yep.
Because if you place, I mean, think about it. It goes back to the whole thing that test they do on children called the marshmallow test.
Oh, that's right. We've talked about this probably 2 different times. It's such a great experiment.
So you sit a child in front of a marshmallow in a room by himself and says, "Okay, I'm going to be gone for 5 minutes." And 5 minutes to a child is eternity.
Right.
I'll be right back. If you don't eat it, I'll give you 2.
Yeah. If you don't touch it, don't eat it, don't taste it, no nothing.
Right.
You get 2, or you could eat 1.
Right. But the torture of it all to the child of the decision-making process, what do I do? I mean, he's in a conundrum, if you will. What do I do? And the devil at times makes it easy for you to choose. By making, because human beings always move away from pain naturally and move towards pleasure. So what the devil will do is make something good look difficult and hard, and then make something bad look easy and enticing.
And
yummy. It may be easy and it may be enticing. However, there's one thing he forgets to tell you about that you should know, but he won't tell you. You just have to find out yourself. The aftermath of whatever that easy bad thing was, that's the payment.
Yeah. Hence selling your soul to the devil.
Right. So Keanu Reeves actually slips up in the movie with multiple
His
partners.
mom was Sally Field.
Yes.
And she was like this really, really religious mother.
Southern Baptist religious.
She was the Southern Belle that probably went to church. Like, the people that go to church every single Sunday. Right. Sally Field played the woman that goes to church every single day.
Right.
And there are people, that's a little bit more rare, but there are people out there that go to church every day. Sally Field played the mother that did that.
Right, which is ironic because I doubt Sally Field would ever do that.
Well, they love her.
They
like her.
They told us. She told us they like her.
I don't know why everybody thinks it's. I thought it was "You Love Me."
It's the media. They don't want, because that sounds so awful.
It does. You like me. I thought you hated me.
Right.
So
anyway,
we need those sound bites. We're gonna have these things all queued up. We got this new machine.
Got everything.
Oh, I can't wait. Anyway,
so that's the whole crux of it. Selling your soul. Obama, it's certainly part and parcel. I mean, the man has no soul. Obama has no soul. Obama met with Lucifer. Lucifer said, if you give me your soul right now, currently, just hand it over, I'll give you all of this. Now, normally my deals are, you do this, and then I'll get your soul in the end.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I'm going to change this up a little bit because you seem really ambitious. And you seem like a real go-getter.
You know what it was? I'll tell you what it was. I'm going to give Obama a little bit of credit here.
Wow.
Now, listen.
Wow.
Lucifer came to his mother and his grandfather, the CIA, and said, if you sell your son and your grandson's soul to me,
firstborn,
I'll make sure that he gets everything. And they were like, well, we don't believe in heaven anyway, so because we're just a bunch of commies.
Right.
Which they were.
All right.
They sold his soul.
Is that racist?
Oh, what?
Is it?
I think they sold his soul. And Obama was like, wait, what?
Oh, my soul's gone?
Oh,
okay.
Well, then I have nothing to lose.
Oh.
That's what it is.
Let's go for broke.
Yeah, I mean, if your soul has been sold already, I mean, just go for it at that point.
Wow.
I mean, are you going to get it back? Is there any way to get it back?
No, once it's gone, it's gone. And that's funny. In Greek mythology, they have a Greek god that is of that is the god of pleasure. He'll give you whatever you want.
But there's a payment.
There's always a payment.
There's always a price.
There was a man who asked him, as an old man, asked this Greek god for a beautiful wife. He said, my wife died. I'm lonely. I want a beautiful wife. And he went to the Greek god for this thing. And he said, you'll give me this, this, and this. He said, okay. He said, fine, whatever. So as the story goes on and on and on, anyways, he says, drink this and your beautiful wife will show up. Apparently, he started drinking wine.
Okay, so it's like beer goggles.
Right. So much so that he got naked in public in a tree, made a fool of himself because the Greek god played the joke on him that the tree was the beautiful woman, and he climbed up into her arms.
Oh, my goodness. That's
his
beer goggles to the nth degree.
And his son had to pull him down and take him out.
How embarrassing.
Oh, so that's part and parcel of what we're talking about the selling your soul out. You can't.
Well, that's what the congressmen and the senators, when they go up, the sad part is so many of them do. It's almost like the devil, when you get up to Washington and the devil approaches you. It's not like you think. You think, oh, well, they give you the choice. Either I get everything, and I sell my soul, or I stand my ground and say, no, I can do without, and I'm going to keep my soul. But it's not that simple. What they do to these senators and representatives that go up to D.C. is this. They say, hey, look, sell your soul to us, and you will have all these worldly, earthly wishes. Or, if you don't, we're going to kill you.
Right.
We're going to bury you. We're going to make your life worse than it ever was. And Al Pacino never did that in the movie. All he said was, hey, It's your choice. I just make it a really good choice. But he never threatened Keanu Reeves with a miserable existence, a life of nothingness and losing elections. Did you hear what Mitch McConnell's been doing to these people that didn't go with the trade deal?
Oh, he's going.
He's Lucifer.
Hold on, Mitch McConnell. You're Democrat, right?
No.
What?
He's a Republican.
What, Mitch McConnell?
He's the guy, the evil guy from Kentucky.
Well, why would he do that against
The
his own
spooky dude?
The spooky dude. Why would he do that against his own party?
I don't know.
Gary, that doesn't make sense. Gary.
It doesn't. No, I can't explain it. You expect me to explain that to you? I have no idea. No idea.
I pulled up mass shootings from around the world.
Oh, yeah. What's the stats on that?
There's one July 22nd, 2011, just a couple of years ago. Confessed mass killer Andres Bering kills 77 in Norway in twin attacks.
Twin attacks?
Yeah. A bombing in downtown and a shooting massacre at a youth camp. Is Norway an advanced country?
It's not a third world country, if that's what you're asking.
Well, Obama said that this doesn't happen in advanced countries.
Well, not with the frequency.
Oh, he put the caveat in there.
Yeah.
He put the caveat
because
in
you know what? By saying not at this frequency, that would mean that it's impossible to be wrong. There are no such thing as two identical frequencies.
Oh.
There's always going to be a slightly different frequency.
Wow.
So he said a statement that is unfalsifiable.
Well, isn't that how the devil does? Isn't that what they call him, the forked tongue?
Are you saying that he's the devil?
No. He's well, like when preachers, like when I go to church, our pastor gets up there and he'll say a prayer, and the prayer will be something to the effect of, God, please speak through me.
Okay.
So that your message gets to the people, and please not allow me to get in the way of your message.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool. Cool. So what Obama's doing is channeling.
Satan, I'd like you to channel through me so I could
get your message out correctly. Oh, man. Oh.
You still need that soundbite of him saying like 10,000 times. Are you searching it right now?
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, it's not there?
It's there, but see, our old soundboard that I'm using, it says you have too many sound bites added. You can't add another sound bite.
We need to drop a beat on that.
That was from it. I did not. I mean, seriously, folks, I did not sit there and say, "Okay, I'm gonna make a song out of this."
I'm gonna make it sound like a fat beat.
I did not.
It was just coincidence.
A fat drum beat. It needs a fat drum beat.
It needs a beat. Yeah.
Right.
That would be like the bass line.
Right. So that was from one single speech.
Well, there was. You repeated it, right?
No.
It sounds like it's repeated. Oh, man.
Anywho. So, deadly mass shootings, yeah, they're all over the place. They're everywhere. Oh,
only in America, though.
Right. Carrie is Catholic.
Yes.
I am so outraged that the main Catholic church out of Italy, I don't know, wherever.
Well, it's called the Vatican.
Right, which is actually its own city, I believe, in Italy.
Right. Well, no,
it's
its own country.
Its own country inside the country of Italy.
Right, it's not technically part of Italy.
And it is, and this is a trivia question, it is the smallest country in the world.
Oh, okay.
Because it's only like 1 square block.
Yeah, I mean, it's
or
not
something, like a couple
it's not
blocks.
what you would think a country is, but yeah.
Right. So
it's not even a city. It's more like a homeowners
HOA dues.
Yeah, it's an HOA.
Wow.
Yes.
So people don't come on Sunday to pay their
dues. Yeah,
dues.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway.
So the Pope has come out this week, and apparently he has joined the European Union and their lunacy by coming out and saying that global warming is taking us all down we must do something immediately to change global warming because we're all going to die.
Well, it's clear to me, and as a Catholic, I'm not ashamed to say this because, I mean, I'm also an American, and I'm not ashamed to say it of America. But communists have infiltrated everywhere. They've infiltrated our education system, and they're propagandizing our children to accept the socialist and communist Marxist message. And it's their MO. That's what they did to Girl Scouts.
Oh, right.
They infiltrated the Girl Scouts, and now the Girl Scouts are completely corrupted with communist abortion messaging, the feminazis, and all that. All that's all wrapped up into one package.
My daughter.
Well, apparently they have infiltrated the papacy. The Pope is communist, or at least he's a communist sympathizer. And there's nothing we could do about it now except for just wait until we select a new pope or something. I don't know if they have an impeachment process or anything like that.
No, they don't. But
it's annoying.
When future historians come to look back on our age, few things will puzzle them more than the extent to which our politics became so dominated and bedeviled
okay.
by two belief systems, each based on an obsessive attempt to force into being an immensely complicated political structure which defies economic, psychologic, and scientific reality.
Who wrote that? That's awesome.
Christopher Booker of Telegraph.uk.
Oh my gosh!
So this is out of the UK. This guy is really good.
Well, funny that you say that.
The title is "The Pope Joins the EU in a Sad World of Make Believe."
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you something about global warming and the UK. The very first time I was introduced to anything that put skepticism into global warming was a documentary made, very professionally done, by some sort of a production company in the UK. And they were all, the narrator had his British accent and everything like that.
Because that's sexy, the British accent.
Yeah, well, it's authoritative. It's just like Glenn Beck has that woman, the Orbit's girl.
I am so done. when they open the show, okay, I'm gonna let you all in on a little secret. I could pay, a few dollars,
right?
Not very many, not very many dollars, but a few, to have any accented male or female to open up this show.
Right, and we should do that. And it should be an Australian girl,
right.
A young girl with a sexy voice
that sounds like the girl from Orbit's commercial.
Yeah, it cleans a dirty mouth, and I'm not going to do the accent because I will.
She's
train
hysterical. No, I would train wreck.
But it sounds like Glenn Beck's.
I want an Asian guy to do our intro. You hear America? You 4-hour TV show come to you, America.
It's 3 hour.
3-hour show.
3 hour show.
America. You listen now.
You pay.
You pay now.
Oh man, we are.
I just
yes, you did.
I've got to learn. Did I just derail this whole thing?
Well, it's like when you step up from a go-kart to an Indy car.
Whoa.
You have to know where your boundaries are because the size of your car changed.
Right.
What we're talking about, for those of you listening right now, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Brian just leaned forward and then leaned back and bashed his head into the microphone.
Because now I got one that hangs down.
Yeah, before we had different microphones. Now we got these new microphones that are in a new position. So
Pope Francis tells Vladimir Putin sincere peace efforts needed for Ukraine. Why is the Pope? Is this the first time the Pope has been so politically active?
No. As a matter of fact, Pope John Paul II is credited as being one of the members of the trifecta that brought down the communist Soviet Union. There was Margaret Thatcher, Pope John Paul II, and Ronald Reagan. They called that the trifecta.
Okay.
Yeah. So The
Well,
problem
that's good,
is,
though. I mean, that was a good thing the Pope did.
Yeah, actually, I think it was that video that you let me borrow that I saw that in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The one with the Reagan.
Yeah, the Reagan one. Yeah.
That was a good video.
Oh, it was. It was. In fact, I'm going to probably watch it for a third time here soon. It's good. I love it. But no, so Pope John Paul II was very active politically, which helped Reagan and Thatcher to, put all that pressure on the Soviet Union, which caused them to collapse economically. Whereas this Pope is kind of like Francis. He's like, well, I guess communism has got to happen in order to stop this global warming thing.
Right.
That's pretty much what it boils down to. For those of you who want to know why we're so opposed to global warming, number one, there's no evidence of it. And it just when people come out and say it's real, and we're scientists, and we know it's real, then I'm just like, okay, you guys look like a bunch of liars.
The Pope wants a complete ban on all fossil fuels.
Oh, right. I'll tell you when fossil fuels will be stopped being used when it's dried up and we have no more.
Probably, because that's just what human beings do.
Right. There's two problems that I have with global warming. For all of you out there, they're like, you guys are a bunch of idiots because global warming is real and it's been proven, and CO2 is man-made. It's being produced by humans in excess, and it's causing a greenhouse effect in the world, which is warming us, and the sea levels are rising. But first of all, nobody have you seen the video on YouTube about why the sky is blue? Have you ever seen that?
I know why the sky is blue, but no.
They showed
the
this extremely detailed physical chemical reason why when you look up at the sky during the day it's blue.
In short, it's the only light that is allowed in at the angle of the sun.
Yeah, there's like a particular angle.
That's why when the sun sets, it's red, because that ray of light, that red light, is what is allowed in, like a prism.
Yeah, and it's like bouncing off of the particles. And this video gets really in depth.
So tell your parents it's not because the ocean is blue. I was lied to, just like you are.
Well, in the video, they show how the different frequencies of light bounce off all the particles in the atmosphere and cause it to end up looking blue. So, and it's very detailed. And when you're done watching that video, you're like, well, now I know exactly why the sky is blue. Now, here's why I brought that up. There has never been a similar video showing us graphically in a video why a trace particle in the atmosphere that is CO2. By the way, it's a trace gas in the atmosphere. It's like 78% of the atmosphere is nitrogen, and like 20-some% is oxygen, and then there's trace gases that make up the rest of it. And CO2 is just a trace gas. So what is it? Show me in a graphic video how when rays of light come from the sun and enter into our atmosphere, exactly how the CO2 is acting like the glass of a greenhouse. And don't just show me arrows and an atmosphere. These are the only videos that are out there. They have
a drawing.
They'll have a drawing of an Earth's surface.
I believe the drawing.
They'll show a curve, and that's the Earth's surface. Then they'll show a curve above that, and that's the top of the atmosphere. Then they'll show arrows coming down from the sun, hit the Earth, bounce off and up, and then they'll say, oh, yeah. Then they bounce back down, and that's reflecting off of the CO2 particles. And I'm like, whoa. This is not making any sense to me. There's never been an explanation other than it's like a blanket. Okay, it's not like a blanket.
No,
okay?
it's not like a blanket. It's like Under Armour.
It's like Under Armour.
Yeah, it allows moisture to wick out.
No, you're thinking of Gore-Tex.
Under Armour will do that too. It says it allows moisture to wick out,
okay,
but won't allow it to come back in, so you won't sit in your own sweat. So what they're
Really?
saying is that the Earth is covered by Under Armour.
Okay.
So that it allows the sun to come in, but it bounces up and down, up and down, up and down, and never allows it to go out.
Because
so
of
we're
a trace gas. A
Right.
trace gas in the atmosphere is
AKA
causing all that.
AKA Under Armour.
Okay.
So Under Armour, if you
So
wanna,
that's
if
my
you wanna
number one.
spot-
My number one problem is no detailed explanation shows me how it's physically possible for that to be an issue. Besides the fact that I'm still not convinced that humans have a big enough impact to increase this trace gas to a high enough level to do what it is that they've never showed me can be done or is even physically able to be done. So there's that. The other thing is nobody really knows what is going to happen to the Earth and all the life on it if the temperature raises fractions of a degrees. It's all theory.
However, they do know that the warmer the Earth is,
Mm-hmm.
the more food that is able to be produced.
And that makes sense. That actually makes sense.
However, we are in a massive cooling cycle right now.
They will tell you that is absolutely false. And it's just a he said, she said thing at this point.
Well, when they say the science is settled, it's settled. They said it's settled.
Yeah, and you better agree with them.
Because the majority of scientists all agree. The majority of scientists, all of them agree.
All of the majority of scientists agree.
Right.
So a couple of degrees up or down, they say a couple of degrees and all life will be extinct.
Oh, absolutely. If the Earth, maybe.
They said if it goes up a couple of percentages of a degree, most life will be extinct.
That's
if it's a
insanity.
couple and here's my whole thing. And they're talking about the sea levels rise. Well, if it's warm enough to melt enough ice on the polar caps to raise the height of the ocean, what about the evaporation of the ocean?
Right. A flashback. 15 years ago, CNN said that in 2015, all of New York City would be underwater.
Oh, that was a very good prediction.
Flashback.
What about flash forward?
Flash forward.
What about flash flood?
They're still underwater.
Are they? What about Texas? That's obviously global warming. Clearly.
I was underwater all weekend.
That's true.
This rain, this hurricane that came all the way up to Cincinnati.
Oh, it was a
from the Gulf of Mexico.
Not the Persian Gulf.
Right.
We got a hurricane all the way from the Persian Gulf. It just wouldn't stop.
Hey, you wanna end on some comedy?
My mom.
Yeah, sure.
Everybody's been hearing about this Donald Trump.
Oh, I love it.
Donald Trump is coming
You're
out.
going to end up having an hour-long segment now.
The most powerful man in the world, in waiting, reveals how he will tackle the problems facing the previous greatest country on earth. The previously greatest country on earth. So he's going to make us great again. And this is a quote from him. Hold on, folks. This is Donald Trump. You want to know why? I have a fortune estimated by Forbes at 8.4 kajillion? Do you? You want me to tell you? It's because I'm a winner.
Oh, he sounds like Charlie Sheen now.
I've been winning since birth. In fact, I was a winner before birth. You want to be a winner? Starting at birth's too late. That's for losers.
Is this a quote from him?
This is word for word.
Oh my gosh.
You gotta start sooner. When I was a spermatozoon.
What?
When I was a spermatozoon, I was like, I don't want to be born into some loser family. I want to be born into a real estate tycoon worth $400 million. So I worked my beep off competing with literally millions of other spermazoos for the right to fertilize that ovum. And what do you know? After 9 months, I'm born into a fabulously wealthy American family. Don't let anyone ever tell you that birth is a matter of luck. That, my friend, is BS. Anyone tells you that, it's because they're a loser.
So when he was a sperm, he outswam his competitors.
That's correct.
What? Couldn't you say that about everybody? I mean, when you say that he said, I didn't want to be born into a loser family, you're going before the sperm. You're going up. You're in heaven. You're in heaven, and God was about to select the next person for the rich couple. And Trump said, hey, everybody out of the way. This is my parents.
Right.
And when I get in the on the starting line, I'll be family friendly here. When I get on the starting line, I'm going to outrace those couple billion of other sperm cells or whatever.
Right. Okay. On ISIS or ISIL, he doesn't know how they've ended up this way, but he'll stop it. Manufacturing, we got to beat China. Immigration, got to stop.
We got to put a wall, the best wall you've ever seen, and I'm going to make Mexico pay for it.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. He said the best wall ever, and
it's ever been built.
And I'll get Mexico to pay for it.
I'll make Berlin's wall look like nothing.
Gun control. If I see another mass shooting on the news that makes me weep, I'm gonna lose my mind.
That's his statement.
Something like that. I see another mass shooting on the news, and it makes me weep because I'm thinking we're out of our minds. How do we allow this to happen? How do we let those poor people go into that church unarmed?
There you go. Oh, yeah. I love it. Okay, yeah. I'm voting for Trump.
When I'm president, no one sets off to worship our peaceful and loving God without packing a Glock and a good-sized rocket launcher.
What? He did not say that. Dude, you can't.
Same goes for malls, offices, stadiums, and kindergartens.
He's advocating to take a rocket launcher into a church.
Well, the problem that him throwing out rocket launcher now makes him sound like this is
not
all
serious.
A parody. It's all a joke. Right.
Is this not a... You got to be reading from The Onion.
I'm reading from the UK Telegraph.
It's got to be a parody.
This is the UK. This is the Telegraph.
These are real quotes.
These are Telegraph.
Why would he say that? Because it takes away from the seriousness of that message. It's serious that people should be allowed and encouraged to be packing at all times.
Right.
As long as you are properly trained and you're knowledgeable and you're responsible. I would hope that you're armed so that you could save a life, save your own life, stop a mass murderer. And when you throw in there, and you should take a rocket launcher in there too. It just takes away from the seriousness of the message.
Absolutely.
If you hear any loud humming in the background, it's because we have these awesome new mics that pick up everything, including whatever is making that noise right now. Just a side note. Brian has breaking news.
We are probably going to end this show fairly quickly.
Oh, no. Really?
We got to lock up.
Lock up. Well, we were going to end up anyway, but normally when we end up with the... Oh, do you got it?
May or may not be. Hard to tell.
Well, can you play? He's lit. Yeah, we are lit. I actually, you held it up to the mic. You're going to get a little bit of feedback here. So Brian is going to check the monitor to see if we're still on the air. Yeah, I could hear that. I could hear that.
Wow.
Well, apparently we're still live, I guess.
Yeah. So we can make this happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Let me get this to stop.
It's funny because our old mics would never pick anything up, but our voice, it was very, our voices were very clear and everything.
Real directional.
But almost anything else that was happening sound-wise was not being picked up by the mics. Now we've got these super sensitive mics, so I'm really happy about it. We're just going to have to put about 10,000 pounds of foam in here to, deaden the sound. But
anyway. We'll deal with it. But so anyways, it's good things that are happening here at Smith Radio so that we can deliver the best possible sounding quality to you. Also with the best technology, stepping it up, making it more and more real in your living room. So it will feel like we're sitting right next to you.
And whispering in your ear.
Oh my goodness. Well, folks, that was an incredible short show, but enjoy the rest of your Father's Day Sunday and get back to us on next Sunday, 5 p.m. We may be able to take calls.
Yeah.
And we are going to start focusing on interviews of other Tea Party members and conservatives so you know who else to follow.
Happy Father's Day.
Good night now.
With unfathomable power.
What kind of power?
Unfathomable. It's without fathom.